For rounds 8 and 9 of the Miltech Sport Volkswagen Racing Cup, the teams have crossed the channel. They've come to the glorious circuit of Spa Francorchamps in the Belgian Ardennes Mountains. It's a circuit that all the drivers love. It's a great challenge, and it's a real contrast from the last venue, Silverstone. The home of British motor racing played host to the Volkswagen Racing Cup last time out. The British weather did its best to spoil the day. Phil House was on pole position for the opening race, and he made the best start as the cars powerboated their way down towards Copse Corner. House grabbed the advantage, but Bobby Thompson in the Polo was a man on a mission. He soon worked his way through into second place and then started to attack House for the race lead. There was, as ever, plenty of drama. Keenan Dole getting it all sideways going through Luffield and being able to hang on, albeit losing a couple of places. James Walker had a big lose going through Beckett. It went through 360 degrees and the Golf carried on. Up front, House had to defend from Thompson, the two running nose to tail, until Thompson tried to make a move heading down towards the stadium. He got up the inside, got his nose in front just, but House hung on the outside as a sideways Thompson dropped back into second place. Walker Senior, Richard Walker, with no visibility from a steamed-up Sirocco, went off the road as well, but he too would battle on to the end. Thompson, round the outside of House, this time got the lead heading into the stadium, but House was not to be denied. He came back at him on the inside at Brooklands. That was the outside for Luffield, and there, finding a little bit more traction, the Sirocco came out just ahead. It meant that Phil House was ahead when they got towards Woodcote and up towards the checkered flag. It was a win for House, with Thompson coming home second. Former champion Phil House a delighted race winner. Race 2 was the race that never was. Weather conditions were even worse, and the race was abandoned. So after just the one race at Silverstone, Bobby Thompson is the man heading the championship. Phil House, Tom Witts, Keenan Dole and Jack Walker-Tully all doing the chasing. But as they head to Spa Francorchamps this weekend, Bobby Thompson and the Power Maxed Racing Volkswagen Polo, the combination they're all trying to catch.
As a team, we've still got 60 kg worth of success ballasting, so I think we're going to struggle a little bit there with the long straights and the long corners, but plan for the weekend is just keep consistent. It would be fantastic to have a win, but it's all about points for me.
Bobby Thompson will start third on the grid for the opening race of the weekend here at Spa. Cars making their way round to the grid, with Dennis Strandberg, former Ginetta hot shoe, being the man on pole position. And Strandberg's debut in the championship is going to be fascinating to see how he can adapt to mini touring cars. And Strandberg, driving for Stuart Lyne's Maximum Motorsport team, has tested Stuart's British touring car as well in recent weeks. Is there a touring car future beckoning for him? Jack Walker-Tully is with him at the front of the grid. Then lining up third is Bobby Thompson. This, the man who leads the championship, and the man that's second in the championship is Phil House, and he will line up fourth on the grid. Thompson leading the championship, but yet to win a race. House having had 3 wins, second in the standings. The view from Bobby Thompson's Polo, the Power Max racing driver, then looking down towards La Source, looking at the back of Dennis Strandberg's Sirocco. The green flag at the back shows that everybody is back from the warming up lap, and now they concentrate on the lighting gantry. The lights go red, engine notes rise when the lights go out. Now we're racing. Who makes the best start? Thompson gets away well, so also does Phil House from the second row. And getting bogged down just a little, Jack Walker-Tully, and so on the run down towards La Source, it's going to be Dennis Strandberg who hangs on to the advantage. Up the inside, tries to go Thompson to get second place. And they funnel their way through La Source and head downhill for the first time. A good getaway then from pole position puts Dennis Strandberg in the lead. He's raced here in Ginetta, so he knows the circuit, but it's not a car he knows that well, as Jack Walker-Tully in the similar green Sirocco goes back up to second ahead of Bobby Thompson, with Phil House fourth as the cars now work their way up through Radion for the first time. On board with Thompson, looking to try to make the move now against JWT. Jack Walker-Tully trying to defend. There is just about enough width for Bobby Thompson to get the line going up towards Les Combes. He'll brake as late as he dares and try to scrabble through on the inside line, which he now does. Through goes Thompson, he gains the place. Tom Witts a long way down in the Golf, the Maximum Motorsport car, gaining a place though off Keenan Dole, forcing him out a little bit wide coming out of Les Combes. But Witts, who's also taken 2 race wins this year, another man in a hurry, well worth watching, as down towards Bruxelles for the first time comes Strandberg, then Thompson, then Walker-Tully, and then House running in 4th place. A replay of the start, on board with Bobby Thompson. Bit of creeping from Jack Walker-Tully, who crept and then stopped. Out go the lights. That's why he bogged down just a little bit, because he'd stopped at arguably the wrong moment. And so Thompson gets up the inside of him to bag second place on the way down towards La Source. Walker-Tully brakes late, tries to go around the outside, but runs out of road. And Walker-Tully comes back on the run down towards Eau Rouge and just gets his nose in front. This was Thompson's view, though, coming out of Eau Rouge up the Camel Straight, trying to squeeze up that narrow gap that eventually does widen. Walker-Tully realises that he's going to have to give a bit more room to Thompson, who comes up the inside, and the turbocharged Polo whistles its way through into second place. And now, Bobby Thompson, who has yet to win this year, remember, is all over the back of newcomer to the championship, Dennis Strandberg. Two drivers yet to score a win in the championship, and now as they work their way through the left-hander, the so-called Speaker's Corner, and head off downhill, they are running together. Nose to tail, Thompson pulls out as they run down towards Pau. Now, is there an opportunity here to challenge for the race lead? There is. He tries to get up the inside. Thompson in the Polo versus Strandberg in the Sirocco. Thompson goes through. The stubby little Polo blasts its way through up into the lead of the race. Dennis Strandberg will try to fight back, no doubt, as they make the run now up towards the Piff Path. Through the right, through the left. And not only has Thompson got the lead, there's also been a change for third place. Look, House ahead of Jack Walker-Tully, and the leading quartet has all bunched up, so it's 4 in a line. It could almost be 5 in a moment, because you've got Toby Davis for Team Hard running in 5th spot, and he's closing up as well. Davis, winner at Rockingham earlier on in the season. Now this is how Thompson got the advantage. Down the hill, heading towards Pau, got a good run out of the left-hander. Finds the gap on the inside, brakes as late as he dares, and just about squeezes up the inside. Uses all of the curb, and now that he's ahead, Bobby Thompson is going to try to build that lead. Phil House, though, dropping back a little bit because he's busy defending now. Right on his tail, you can see Jack Walker-Tully's car, but this is Bobby Thompson's view. Now, is it going to remain this way, or is he suddenly going to see the back of a green Sirocco? He does! Dennis Strandberg goes through, takes the place away on the run up now towards Les Cons once again. House hanging on to third at the expense of Jack Walker-Tully as they work their way up through Les Cons together. And Jack Walker-Tully with a really quick exit now, trying to get up alongside the man that runs second in the championship. Bobby Thompson still thinking about points, and so he needs to, can't stay in the advantage here, because again Dennis Strandberg with the Sirocco towed himself back through on the run up to Les Cons. Phil House drops downhill. Replay of how the lead changed again. A really good exit coming through the Camel Straight part of the circuit by Dennis Strandberg. Put him onto the back of Bobby Thompson's car and just serenely powers on by. Got a bit of a tow coming up the hill, and with the extra straight line speed, through he goes. Strandberg getting away. It is game on for second place now. Thompson just ahead of Jack Walker-Tully. Jack, more experienced a racer, but he's on the back of Bobby Thompson now as they head up towards Les Cons. And while this squabble is taking up shape, it is enabling the race leader to get away. Look at the gap now that Dennis Strandberg has managed to pull out over the opposition. Turning their way up towards Les Cons once more. So Strandberg, new to the championship, qualified on pole, leads the race. The fastest lap, though, done by Jack Walker-Tully as Phil House comes under attack from Toby Davis, who's under attack from Tom Witts. The two Golfs almost managed to make contact with each other there. Tom Witts trying to wriggle his way up the order, but Strandberg has been the real talking point of the weekend. The advantage he had, though, has disappeared again. Thompson drags himself back onto the tail of the Sirocco. Downhill they go. The Swede, Dennis Strandberg, leading the way. And then for second spot, this man, Bobby Thompson, right on his tail. Turning their way through the left-hander at Pau. Downhill they go, and Dennis Strandberg leading with Bobby Thompson running out wide over the curb. Is that going to lose him second place? He's still on the runoff area. Yes, he has lost second because Jack Walker-Tully goes through. Jack Walker-Tully up into second place, so it's Sirocco's first and second. The Polo falls to third. And where's the leading member of the Golf Club? Fourth is where you find Toby Davis. Replay of Thompson getting it wrong. Very quick through Pau, a little bit too quick, runs out of road, over the curb, and then he has to decide whether to try to fight the car back onto the line or just let it run, get it all back under control, and in doing so loses out to Jack Walker-Tully. Tom Witts heading towards us ahead of Keenan Dole. You've also, in the midst of all of that, got 41, which is the Alex Jurinsky, Sirocco. Alex making a welcome return to the championship, former stalwart of the series, and Simon Rudd in that little battle as well. Simon's second at Rockingham at the start of the year, number 24, but his results have fallen away a bit since then. Keenan Dole locking up as he leads his long line of cars through Brussels. It's the Dole queue in a sense, this, because he's got three of them stacked up behind him now. For the race lead, Dennis Strandberg, though, is somehow keeping Jack Walker-Tully at bay as they drop downhill once again through Pau. For the Maximum Motorsport team, it's going to be a really good result, this, if Dennis Strandberg can hang on for a maiden win. Jack Walker-Tully in second spot. The Sirocco that his uncle Richard drove in the Silverstone wet race, the second one having been abandoned because of the appalling track conditions. Spa not noted for its kind weather, but so far this weekend it has been good. Keenan Dole here, heading the next gaggle through with Tom Witts. Then you've got Simon Rudd in the queue as well. And the three Golfs getting themselves together for a really good scrap now, and Rudd looking like the man on his toes, trying to find a way past Tom Witts in the newer Golf. Five-door plays three as they work their way now up through the exit of L'École. The two leading Siroccos, though, together. And in this 25-minute race, the clock is ticking down and down and down towards the checkered flag, and it should be this time. Nose to tail, they head up towards the timing line, but Dennis Strandberg is going to score a maiden win in the championship. Second, right on his tail, is Jack Walker-Tully, the gap at the end being just over a fifth of a second. Bobby Thompson, who oh so briefly led, comes home for third place. Somewhat frustrated, I suspect, that the pace ebbed away. Phil House also a little bit in no man's land, he's fourth. And then for fifth, Toby Davis with this battle pack for sixth, headed over the line by Keenan Dole, but only just because he has got Witts and Rudd and then Kieran Gordon as well in that mix coming through behind him. So some great racing in race one of the weekend for the Volkswagen Racing Cup. It's a win, though, for Dennis Strandberg. Confirmation of how they crossed the line. Strandberg the winner from Jack Walker-Tully and Bobby Thompson. Phil House and Toby Davis ahead of Keenan Dole to round out the top six. Then the Golfs of Tom Witts and Simon Rudd. It's a win for a delighted Dennis Strandberg.
This is just a perfect way. A pole and then a third win in the first race. On this track, when you hear the Swedish national anthem, it's just brilliant.
Car came on, tyres came up to temperature, and I was pushing till the end, but just didn't quite have the pace in the first sector of the track to challenge for the lead. But yeah, that was a good result.
We're struggling with that. The VW Polo R is perfect on tyres, so we're really good at the start of the race. I think we'll be on a level playing field now. These guys have got ballast as well.
There's another race to come at Spa, though. Is it going to be a double for Strandberg? Find out after the break. The fabulous circuit of Spa Francorchamps in Belgium is the host for the next two rounds of the Volkswagen Racing Cup. We've had one, and it was a first-time win for Dennis Strandberg. The results of that race sort out the grid for race two, with the top 7 drivers being reversed on the grid. So Strandberg it is, with work to do from P7 this time around, with pole position going to Tom Witts in the green Golf on the inside of row 1, with Keenan Dole alongside him. Witts a double winner this year. The green flag at the back shows that everybody is back for the warming up lap, and 25 minutes of racing is about to get underway. As the lights are red, the lights go out, it is blast off, and who makes the best start? Phil House creeps out of the draft in the silver-nosed Sirocco, tries to get up the middle as the cars accelerate down towards La Source, but it is going to be Tom Witts in the green Golf that leads the way. Right with him, though, Keenan Dole as they wriggle their way round La Source for the first time. Dennis Strandberg is in number 4 Sirocco from the 4th row of the grid, the race 1 winner. And he's going to be the man to watch now to see what progress can be made. At the back of the pack, newcomer to the championship, Amy Jurinsky, as the leaders work their way downhill for the first time. Witts leading Dole in 3rd spot. A good getaway by Toby Davis, who's been a winner already this year as well. The cars powering their way uphill for the first time, and now onto the Camel Straight up towards L'École. And this is a part of the circuit where if you get a good tow, you might be able to dart out of the draft and make a move for position. Toby Davis does exactly that in the white and pink and red Golf on the outside of the blue Golf of Keenan Dole, and round the outside into the lead goes Davis, and there's a sideways Dole. Off the road has gone Davis, Dole's off as well. Witts hangs on to 2nd. Phil House and the Sirocco comes up to 3rd, the silver Sirocco into 3rd place. So Tom Witts comes out of L'École back in the lead. Phil House up the inside to take 2nd away from the recovering Toby Davis, and Keenan Dole is down in 4th place, and Davis then gets all sideways. Wow. It's been a really frantic first few corners. Up front, it's Tom Witts then as the cars head downhill for the first time. Through the left-hand Pouhon they go. Witts it is, trying to make good his escape now. And way wide goes Toby Davis. Wait for him to flash back into shot. There he is. So he's run out of road completely at Pouhon. And this is what happened going into Les Combes. He went round the outside. Dole was on the outside of Witts. Both of them ran out of traction, really. Scrabble their way through Les Combes. So as Dole got sideways and off the road, up to second again went Witts. But Toby Davis came out ahead, but then lost a bit of momentum and lost the advantage. So Phil House takes the advantage now at Les Combes. But look who is behind him. It's Dennis Strandberg, the race 1 winner, making that Sirocco absolutely fly. The Swedish driver with his sights set on a touring car career now at the helm of championship boss Stuart Lyne's car. Stuart, of course, races in the British Touring Car Championship with his Ford Focus. Could that be somewhere that Strandberg finds himself? He's tested the car already, and as they work their way out of Bruxelles and plunge downhill, the battle is on between a former champion, Phil House, and a championship newcomer in Dennis Strandberg. And then the Golfs for third and fourth leaning on each other. Bits go flying as Keenan Dole gets squeezed onto the grass, and he and Tom Witts continue to lean on each other all the way down the hill. Dole trying to stand his ground on the outside, but Tom Witts with his elbows well and truly out, keeps on coming sideways. Jack Walker-Tully. Now have a look at the replay. Round the outside goes Dole. Tries to get back onto the circuit. There's not really very much room, but he keeps on coming. Demolishes the floppy markers, gets rid of some of the trim underneath the car. 2 wheels on the dirt. Witts hits him. And again, Dole still tries to get back onto the circuit, and there's more contact and more contact. And eventually Tom Witts has the line for the corner, and Keenan Dole thinks, I might just need to back out of this because he ain't going to give me any room. And Jack Walker-Tully arrives very quickly for Pouhon and has a big slide behind them. Phil House leading the race, but this needle match for third still very much alive. Tom Witts in the green Golf keeping the battle-scarred version of Keenan Dole behind him. The Maximum Motorsport car ahead of the Team Hard entry. Tony Gillam's squad running Keenan Dole's blue car, and that is right on the back of Tom Witts for third place as they come out of the bus stop. Over the timing line, House starting now to get away from Strandberg. If anything, Dennis might be dropping back into the clutches of this fight. Witts, Dole, and then Bobby Thompson in the polo, and the recovering Jack Walker-Tully, and Thompson's off at La Source. Somewhere in the traffic, I think he either braked a bit late or somebody braked a bit early, and he had to dart out of the draft. Thompson losing places then as he gets back onto the road, falling behind Alex Durinsky's Sirocco there. Downhill they come. Race leader trying to get away now. Phil House up front, but Dennis Strandberg doing his best to stay with him. Now have a look at Bobby Thompson. He goes one side and then the other, gets himself past Dole, brakes late going into La Source on the back of Witts, and perhaps brakes just too late, realises that he's got to do something, otherwise he'll go into the back of Tom Witts' Golf. And that do something means run wide and get out of the way. So the escape road on the outside of La Source works for him, but that drops Thompson down the order now. Up towards us comes Phil House, the race leader. 25-minute race, clock ticking away here for second place. Tom Witts up the inside of Dennis Strandberg and goes through, takes the place away as they work their way through Les Combes. But also you've got Jack Walker-Tully coming back at them now. Big sideways moment for Strandberg, who collects Jack Walker-Tully, and round they both go. Into the barriers goes Walker-Tully. Dennis Strandberg tries to limp on, but how much damage has that done to his car? Walker-Tully already had a big dent in the door, which is possibly why he went sideways at Pouhon earlier on in the race. But now more contact and a trip into the tyre barrier. He's ended up in the gravel bed, all conspiring to put Jack Walker-Tully out of the race. So the order is much shuffled, and there you've got Kieran Gordon, number 36, trying to keep Keenan Dole at bay. Together they run out of Pouhon. And up front, Phil House looking as though it's going to be a fourth win of the year. And if he can outscore Bobby Thompson, that's going to be good news for him in the championship. Thompson, though, is up there to third place in the polo. He knows the importance of scoring points in all of this as the cars then accelerate their way once more down towards L'École, past the college on the right-hand side of the road, and then up towards the Cours Paul Frère and the run towards Blanchimont. Through they come with Phil House looking the dominant driver here. How many more laps can he squeeze out of 25 minutes of racing? And equally, what's going to happen behind him? Because you've got second, third, fourth and fifth all in a line. Witts ahead of Thompson, ahead of Gordon, ahead of Dole. And they break for the bus stop where Bobby Thompson there, look in the polo, is trying to keep Kieran Gordon at bay in the Team Hard Golf. Up towards the timing line, and a safety car being deployed. The yellow lights flash, the safety car boards are being shown. That, I suspect, is for Jack Walker-Tully's car off at Les Combes. So Phil House leading the way. Everybody, though, now slows right down behind him. It does, of course, mean, with it being a full safety car, not a virtual one, that everybody will bunch up. There is Dennis Strandberg into the pit lane, so he was also involved in that accident. Let's have another look at it. He is sideways, possibly with contact, coming out of Les Combes. There's certainly one nudge, then a second bigger hit against Jack Walker-Tully. The dust for the suspension of Jack Walker-Tully's car puts him backwards into the tyres, and he ends up in the gravel. Dennis Strandberg limps away, but with damage to his car as well. But it's to get Walker-Tully's car out of the way that we have the safety car. Safety car back in at the end of the lap. We should be good to go racing. The lights go green as Phil House sprints up towards the timing line now. We're going to squeeze one more lap out of this, seemingly, as House goes through, but now he's got the whole pack stacked up behind him. Tom Witts runs in second place, then in third it's Bobby Thompson, fourth is Kieran Gordon, and the next car in the line is Keenan Dole as they work their way down towards La Source with a big lock up there and more mayhem. Jurinsky gets turned around, and the man that locked up as well in all of that was Cameron Thompson. So more drama on the restart. Thompson, Sirocco locking up, others cannoning into the side of Jurinsky and turning Alex sideways. House trying to get away from Witts then as they power uphill. Let's have another look at the restart here as they come down towards La Source. Cameron Thompson tries to get up the inside of Toby Davis, locks up. Davis hits Jurinsky, then gets hit himself by Thompson, somehow gets through the carnage and just about survives. The race leader then is Phil House. The race winner for the fourth time this year is about to become Phil House as they work their way into the bus stop. The checkered flag is at the ready. House has made good his escape as they're all squabbling behind for second place. But Phil House wins. Race 2 at Spa. Second over the line is going to be Tom Witts, with Bobby Thompson just fending off Keenan Dole. And it's Kieran Gordon fifth, with Ben Wallace up from the 8th row of the grid, rounding out the top 6. A really good effort, but a great race won by Phil House. He had to fend everybody off and, of course, deal with that safety car period. Race 2 won by Phil House, with Tom Witts second ahead of Bobby Thompson for the podium. Dole, Gordon and Wallace ran out the top 6 ahead of Matthew Wilson and Phil Morris in 8th place. For Phil House, it's win number 4 of the season.
It's amazing. It's a dream come true to win at Spa. After yesterday, I was a bit disappointed with everything that went on, and to come back and win was just, very good, very good.
It's mega to be up on the podium here. It's an amazing track, probably the best track in the world. So to be up on the podium was great. Really tough race though, but yeah, really good.
We're all happy as a team. Obviously, we're just thinking in the long run, playing the long game. There's a few different strategies we could have done there, dropping back to lose weight, but we're at Spa. I just wanted a nice trophy to take home.
Bobby Thompson has a nice trophy to take home, but he's only got a 2-point advantage in the championship now. Phil House is breathing down his neck. Tom Witts is third ahead of Keenan Dole, then it's Jack Walker-Tully, and Kieran Gordon creeping into the mix as well after 2 very important races here at Spa. The next stop for the Miltech Sport Volkswagen Racing Cup is Snetterton.